Hello, everyone. Welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick, and with me again is Adam. Adam, how are you, mate?
Very well, mate. Very well. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. It's what is it? What we on? Is it Wednesday now? It's Wednesday, isn't it? You've come. I'm sort
Yeah,
of losing
Wednesday,
track of the
mate.
days. Got a long weekend in
All
front of
day.
us, and yeah. So I'm glad. I'm going to be glad when this week's over. Put it that way. It's been a
Mm.
bit of a ball ache week, but football's back at the weekend. Going to talk a little bit about that and some other bits and pieces, but we're going to wing it tonight. Normally what we do, and we do these midweek waffles, is the chat is driven by the community. Now we get some questions in there, but I've been too lazy tonight. We haven't got any of that, so we're going to have to fly by the seat of our pants, Adam, I'm afraid. All right, we'll have to make it up
We'll
as we
see how
go along.
we'll see how this goes, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah,
See
we'll
how
see
this
how it
goes, mate.
goes.
Shall we?
As always, anyway, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe. It does really help us. I mentioned on the show the other day, on the analytics, it says there's about 30 to 35% of you that watch this channel regularly and you're not subscribed. Why? Please check, subscribe. It does help. Don't cost anything. You know, it's free. Drop a like on the video. That's the important bit. And hype us up if you've got any hypes left. So, I think the place to start is what's caused this little mini disruption, Adam. And that's the international break. Did you catch any of the the England games, the two of them? Did you watch any of it?
I think I was I saved myself the torture of it, mate, because by the sounds of it, it was terrible from
It
what
was
I've
crap.
gathered. So no, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. Yeah, to be honest with you, the whole England internationals, they always tend to come at the wrong time of the season,
Yep.
and it just bores me. And it's just in our situation, it's a bit of a nice break from West Ham, but ultimately, yeah, I'm not really interested in
Do
watching
you think the
England.
break came at the right time or the wrong time, or would you have preferred us to have just had that fucking Wolves game fast?
Uh,
Or do you think it's
I
given
don't
him a
know.
little bit of time to sort of collect himself and you know
I
smack
think I
himself on
think
the
it would
arse
have
for that
been.
stupid formation that he played?
Yeah, I think if we was to play Wolves soon after the Villa with the way he set up and everything else, that would have been a quick turnaround. So I don't
Yeah,
think he would have gone down that road again. But we've had the break now. He might have been
yeah.
working on that for the last 2 weeks. You don't know, do you? You know.
We're going to
Um,
find out. I mean, that's what I'm nervous about. I've had several people that have been trying to push me for going to bounce around here because I'm going to go back to internationals in a minute. Several people that have been pushing me for predictions, and I can't. I can't bring myself to predict anything at the moment, and the main reason being is because I just don't. I don't. I don't feel any confidence in the way that Nuno's going to set up. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to set up, how he's going to approach a game. Therefore, I don't really know how to predict it. Can we beat Wolves? Of course we can. Can we beat Leeds? Of course we can. You know, but vice the fucking opposite can happen as well. That's the thing.
yeah, I think just touching on that, how he's got to approach it. I mean, the Villa game. It was always going to be a tough game anyway, because Villa, whether or not they've been informed, the reality is they are still looking at Champions League spots. So going to Villa Park was always going to be a tough test anyway. I don't mind the five at the back, to be honest, but I don't like the mindset. I don't like the tactics of it. It's five at the back because you just want to defend. Yeah, don't mind playing five at the back as if you're going to be using that, but the wing back so that becomes three at the back. I don't
If
mind that.
if you've got the
You
personnel
know,
for it, I've always
yeah,
said the same thing. Five at the back at West Ham. I know it can be attacking. You know, three centre
yeah.
backs and two wing backs that are bombing up the pitch, overlapping and stuff like that. It can be, but it never is at West Ham.
No, you're right.
It's
It's
never
not.
deployed
It's
that
not.
way. When you see three at the
Yeah.
back, you know what you're going to be getting. And you're
Mm,
just like, oh, and it don't matter what
yeah.
manager it is. It's always the same. Maybe it's because
Yeah,
they're
that's what I'm
always
saying.
the same type of manager. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't mind the three at the back or five at the back, however you want to play it, but it's just the
It's the
the
approach, the
right
mentality, isn't
the
it?
approach behind it. Exactly, that's the
Yeah.
thing. That's exactly what it is.
And
That's
I,
what
and
I
I,
don't
and I,
like. You know.
I've said that before. You know, when it comes to formation, sometimes we can obsess too much over it. You know, oh look, we're playing a 4-2-3-1. We're playing a 4-3-3. All means fuck all if the instruction is to sit deep, not
Sit there.
press.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
matter what
No,
it
you're
doesn't.
right, mate.
But what I do find is that when you see the three at the back, that gives you an early indication as to what's in store. So
Hmm.
that kind of deflates me before it even goes away. But in relation to the internationals, said we was going to bounce about. Um, I think it's absolutely disgusting what we've seen. I think it's disgraceful in the past week or well, no, it's the past week where these two games that have just gone. You know, they've interrupted the Premier League where you've got Arsenal. and Man City sort of trying to win the title. You've got all these teams down the bottom as well, you know, that are fighting relegation. 7 games to go, and they've disrupted it for 2 exhibitions, and that's what they are, and that's what they were.
Yeah.
Because do you know what? The first teams were never on display. Don't tell me that either of them teams that Tommy Tickle put out there are going to be the 11 that he's got in mind. It weren't. It was like some pointless audition for players like fucking Harvey Elliott. Oh, I don't mind. He's a good player. He ain't played all year. Giving him a
Mm.
minute. He ain't going to be on the plane. Well, of course he ain't. You know, and then
No.
you've got stuff like you've got Bowen being dragged in there. You know, Madueke, because Saka was apparently injured. That was nonsense. Saka's apparently injured, so Madueke got some game time. He got injured. And then Bowen comes in, but then you've got, in the next game against Japan, you've got fucking Madueke and Saka, who are the 2 players in front of him, not in the squad. He's still not on the pitch. So it's a massive insult as far as I'm concerned. But I just think these 2 games, if you're this close to the World Cup and you're Thomas Tuchel, you shouldn't be dicking around now like that. There shouldn't be auditions late. You should know the players that you want to take. And it should
Well, the thing
be
is,
it should be warm-ups. It should be warm-ups for your 11.
yeah, the thing is, he should know at this point already who he's going to be wanting to have in his squad based on
Waste of
the
time. Yeah.
players based on the season that they're having, and but you don't have a break up at this time yet in the business end of the season where every game matters. Do you know what I mean? Because you can't risk your top players getting injured, which is effectively what can happen. You know, now
Yeah.
we got lucky really that Bowen didn't get as much time as maybe what we wanted, because ultimately we do want him in the World Cup squad. Of course we do. We want the best thing for him. Do you know what I mean? But am I grateful that he didn't get injured? Of course I am, because we need him more than ever.
We
You know
didn't
what
get
I mean?
afforded the
So
same grace as the likes of Arsenal, who I don't know about Saka, but what I can tell you about Declan Rice, and I know this for a fact, I told you what happened in the group. But Declan Rice, I think it was a day or 2 after he was sent home for his bad back, was basically seen where he lives on a little kid's push scooter thing, whizzing round with his brothers with a couple of golf clubs in his hand. There's fuck all wrong with him. So you've had Saka and Declan Rice who have been sent back home because Arsenal are top of the league and they want to win it. And then you got us, you know, with Bowen and whoever else. The whole thing's a farce as far as I'm concerned. And I just, like I said, if they'd have used them as warm-up games and they'd have played their first 11, then fair enough. You know, I'd have thought, all right, fine, it's a warm-up for the World Cup. But that wasn't that. I don't know what that
no.
was. I don't know
I
what it
mean, like I
was.
said, I didn't get a chance to see it, mate, to be honest. But I did sort of, I
Oh,
saw the
shit.
lineups and things like that. But yeah, from the results and from what I hear, it wasn't the best. But that's to be expected, isn't it? At the end of the day, you know, it's like this time of the year, right? You know, we said it before, didn't we? Before the international break, the last game, was there some players that wasn't given 100% because they was worried about getting injured for the internationals
Yeah, yeah,
potentially?
yeah. Yeah, Bowen had a
It's now the
stinker, didn't
same
he?
thing. It's now the same thing.
Hmm.
Do they not really want to give 100% because they're maybe worried about getting injured for the run in at the end of the season? Do you know what I mean? So
I don't want to believe that. Are you talking about the internationals or the games before the international break?
internationals, the
Oh, right,
internationals,
yeah,
like
yeah, because there was a
for
lot
the
of
purpose what the
there was a
games
lot of
were.
people. There was a lot of people that were saying that the reason that we had such a subdued performance and such kind of misfiring performances against Aston Villa was because people had one eye on the international
No,
breaks.
no, I don't believe
I didn't
that.
like that. I didn't like that at all. I don't think that's true.
But I do think for the purpose of what these England games that we just had which was non-events exhibitions, the players ain't going to necessarily give 100%, are they? And risk
No,
getting injured for their clubs at the business end of the season. Do you know what I mean?
no.
So, yeah,
No, no,
yeah.
no. Oh, well, look. It's all over now anyway. It's all over. We're not straight back into it. We've got the FA Cup weekend first, which gives us a little bit more time. I'm quite pleased that we've got the FA Cup as a distraction and as an opportunity for us to sort of build some positivity back into the squad after 2 not. Well, look. I mean, the Man City game, good result. You can say that's a point, but you know we did just get tonked by Villa. It's getting very nerve wracking now. We're still in the bottom 3.
Mhm.
Spurs have got fucking De Zerbi. We don't know we don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, we can talk about it till the cows come home. Say shit, he's attacking, going to leave them wide open. They're going to concede. We don't know until it happens. We don't know. What I do know is that don't even matter if we don't win. So it doesn't even matter what happens with Spurs if we don't
No,
win our
no.
games. And I do feel like the Wolves game, which is going to be very difficult. They're an informed team. They haven't got any pressure on them as such. They haven't got any expectation. They've got. I like the way the manager has basically told the players. I think he said it on Monday Night Live before they played. Actually, he said, "I've told the players, you know, some of you might not be here next year, but if you do want to move on, then you want to use these games as a showcase for your talent, so you can get the best possible move and that type of thing." So he's leveraged everything, and they're playing really well. But do you think that this Leeds game coming up, do you feel like it's an unwelcome distraction in our current situation, or do you feel like would you rather we didn't
So,
have this, or are you where do you stand on it?
so if you asked me that question before the Villa game, I'd have been like, it's a bit of a distraction, to be
Yeah,
honest. My thought process was that it's nice to have a bit of a cup run, and I know a lot of fans won't agree with me with this, but and I've said this before, I would rather us, you know, get knocked out of the FA Cup so we can concentrate on the league because that's what's
boom,
going to save West Ham, not
disagree.
win the FA Cup.
Yeah,
But so the question was, if you'd have asked me before the Villa game, regarding the FA Cup, I would have been like, look, let's just kind of not give it 100% because
mm.
the league's more important. However, since the Villa game and how that was, I think this Leeds game, which is a very winnable game, has come at the right time because this is what we can now use to try and get that momentum back that we'd lost. So,
There's certainly
um,
you've got to look at this where if we do approach it correctly and we win it, that's got to help us going into the last 7 games in terms of our
yeah,
mentality, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It
yeah,
can't
it,
hurt.
it does. Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, it's one of them though, isn't it? Where the closer you get, to a bit of silverware, then the kind of not the mentality changes, but like things start to prioritize change a little bit.
Yeah,
You, you might start resting players for the league game because you've got a semi-final coming up, and you wouldn't necessarily rest those players for the league game if you didn't have that semi-final. You
yeah.
see what I mean? And that could maybe the difference between a point or three potentially in the league. You don't know. But it ain't gonna hurt, I don't think, in terms of mentality and momentum and confidence,
Well,
if we can get
providing we win, because obviously it could have the
yeah, of
reverse
course.
effect if
Yeah.
we get bombed out. Do you know what I mean? Because don't forget,
Yeah.
also this is against Leeds. This is the game that, if we're lucky, the final game of the season. If we're still in it, we might have to win it or whatever to sort of stay in the league. So it's a little bit of an audition as well, an early audition for that game. So I think
If
there's a
we
lot
if
riding
we
on it in terms of mentality.
yeah, if we beat Leeds, then I feel a lot more confident going into the Wolves game that we can get a result out of that. I know it sounds
Yeah,
crazy because Wolves are bottom of the league, but as you said, they have been playing really well
mate,
lately.
they're one of the informed
You know.
teams.
Yeah, so and it's not going to be an easy game. Doesn't It's not going to
Yeah.
be an easy game. But if we beat Leeds, then I feel more confident that we can get something out of the Wolves game. If we don't beat Leeds off the back of losing to Villa and then that performance against City, I just think it's the form's going the wrong way. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's what we,
momentum's shifted the wrong way
yeah,
completely. You
yeah.
know, yeah, no, I agree. I think there's a lot riding on it. I think there is an argument to say we could do without this now for that very reason, because we have to win this. I feel like we have to win this game now, because I don't think it's going to do us any good whatsoever if we lose it. You know, on a like I just said, this is like a
Mm.
fucking warm up to the last game of the season as well. So mentally, that ain't good if you lose it. Um, but also, we don't need any more heartbreak at the moment. I feel like what the league. If you go back to the Brentford game, I remember watching that game and I didn't feel any pressure. I actually enjoyed it as a game of football. It wasn't like you didn't have all the anxiety and the trepidation of the Premier League. Just enjoyed it. The team, the players seemed to enjoy it as well. We didn't have Jimmy on the pitch. We didn't have Tatty on the pitch. We had Pablo up front, Bowen. We had Traore, I think it was, or was it Lane Madrid? I can't remember. We played all right. That we was
Mm.
playing. They went strong, Brentford, and we played well against them, and we got through. Now look, if we do get through against this, it's not going to be easy moving forward. You've got Chelsea are playing Port Vale. I can only see that going one way. That's in one of the
Yeah, yeah,
quarterfinals. You got Arsenal playing Sunderland. Sorry, Southampton. Arsenal playing Southampton. Now Southampton are on a fucking good run since Will Still left. They've done all right. They've been on an upwards trajectory. And you can think that maybe Arsenal have got bigger fish to fry, as Robbie
Yeah,
Lowell would say. So
maybe.
maybe they won't. They might slip. You don't know. But I would like to face them in the final. And then you've got City and Liverpool in the other game as well. So there ain't going to be an easy semi-final in this. I don't think there's not
Well,
going to be an easy
I
semi.
think you fancy City to beat Liverpool purely because Liverpool are rubbish. Really, they're not great, are they? You know, I
Unless
know
they're
City
playing
haven't.
West Ham.
Yeah, most City haven't been great either, but you'd fancy City to get a result there. But yeah, it's gonna be whoever we play next is gonna be a tough one, and potentially I don't want to sound like I'm being negative, but that might be where it ends. You know what I mean? In the semis, if we beat Leeds,
But it may have served its purpose by that point. Our cup run
of
may have
course,
served its
absolutely, yeah.
purpose. You know, we'll have our day at Wembley because the semi-finals at Wembley.
But
You
do you know
know,
what though? I'm saying this now, Nick, but if we end up, winning, beating Leeds, and we put in a really good performance, and all of a sudden we're in the semis, I'm going to be bouncing about the living room. I'm going to be
and
absolutely buzzing
and you
about
and
it.
you and you
You
do
know?
realise that, at that point, Nuno, as much as I hate his style of football, I detest it. Right, I do accept and I do acknowledge. We've seen it with Moyes, right? Tournament football and knockout football is a bit different. One-off games are
Mm,
different.
of course they are.
I think he's kind of shitty bum, deep low block counter attacking football is a type of football where you might shock a Man City, you might shock a Chelsea, you might in like a one-off game,
Hmm.
because if you can get through, this is a game. I'm not being funny. Respect to Leeds, they're better than us. They have been playing better football than us. They ain't been scoring goals. Nonetheless, we should be beating them at home, in my opinion. I think we should be beating them at home. No, there's not. We're not worlds apart. We should be beating Leeds at home. This is not a game where I'm looking at that thinking, "Oh, it's Leeds." I'm not. It's a good fixture. They're a decent
Hmm.
team, Leeds. But what I'm saying is they're not better than that. They're not. They're not better than us. We're kind of there's parity there. So I think we should be beating them at home. Going into the next game, it's different, and then it's giant killings. But they're one-off
Yeah.
games. Anything can happen, And the thing is, it's one fixture. We've done it against fucking Burton and QPR. Keep it 0-0. Go into extra time. Win on
I'm,
penalties. It's all right.
I'm gonna put a spin on it for you, Nick. So let's say, for
Go on.
example, that we beat Leeds. Obviously Arsenal are going to go through against Southampton. You would expect Chelsea to beat Port Vale, and City are going to beat Liverpool,
Yeah,
right? The favourites are
yeah.
going to go through. Well, that leaves obviously us, Chelsea, Arsenal, and City.
I want
Now,
Chelsea.
yeah, I mean, out of those three, you'd want Chelsea
Yeah,
because Chelsea are the worst.
yeah.
Arsenal, at the end of the day, like you say, bigger fish to fry. So that's not going to be the end of the world as a draw. The one team I probably wouldn't want is Man City, to be honest. Out of the three, that would be the one I'd want
Would
to
you would you
avoid.
leave would you leave that to the final?
Yeah, yeah, I'd leave that to the final. I would.
Yeah.
My best mate's a City fan, so that would be quite interesting if we beat it, make them in the final. Um,
My choice would be Arsenal. My choice to make this a thoroughly fucking wonderful season, and I mean to turn what is an absolute turd of a season into something probably one of the best in our living memory would be first of all us to survive and Spurs to go down, which could still happen. Right, De Zerbi might come in, new manager bounce, kick on, fuck, they're gone. Could happen, but also just as likely, and I mean it is just as likely, it's a flip of a coin with him because their fans are already on that geezer's back. He hasn't even started yet. If he starts bad, he's fucked. They're going to be all over him. So he's got to win. They've got to win against Sunderland. So for me, it's got to be Tottenham go down, we stay up. It's got to be Arsenal start to stumble. Right, the
yeah,
whole thing has to play out. Arsenal starts to stumble. I think if it's not the first game after the break when they play each other, City and Arsenal. I think there's a game in between, but then they play each other. City have also got a game in hand. If they win that and they beat Arsenal, I think there's 3 points in it. Arsenal have only got to fuck up once more. We've got to play them, right?
mm,
I'd like us to, first of all, before the FA Cup final, when we play Arsenal and we reenact the 1980 FA Cup final, I'd like us to beat them. I would. Because they've moved that game so that it can be televised. It can be put live on TV.
yeah, yeah. I
It's
saw it
actually
earlier.
been moved
Yeah.
purely because they're expecting it to be like the title parade. You've had Arsenal fans buying tickets up. It's been all over social media. They're going to be in our fucking home end. They're going to be everywhere, right? So what I'm really hoping is that we can do that, and that'll be 4 games to go. They could be level pegging at that point with Man City. We beat them. All of a sudden, City go in front. They get knocked out of the Champions League. They fucked it in the League Cup. Tottenham are down. They're losing the league now. City are running away with it. And all they've got left is the FA Cup. That's their last chance. It's Arteta's last chance. At that point, mate, if we go and we win that FA Cup, it's just going to be. It could.
It would be
Like,
magical.
no, but that is a fairy tale, isn't it? It's a fairy
Of
tale.
course it is, yeah, absolutely. But do you know what? It's not as daft as it sounds that could actually materialise. That's
It
the
could happen.
thing.
It could happen.
It could actually happen,
Yeah,
because Arsenal, as we know, they bottle it anyway. Of course they do,
yeah.
and they are outright favourites to win this league. Outright favourites because of the position they put themselves in. But they've just lost the City in the League Cup. The wheels are coming off, mate. I'm telling you, the wheels are going to come off. And if they do end up beating Southampton and they get drawn against City in the next round of the FA Cup, they're going to shit their pants again. They're going to be knocked out of the FA Cup. You know what I mean? Unless
Well, let me ask you this: who would you fancy your chances against more in a final, City or Arsenal?
Oh, 100%. Well, actually, I don't. It's hard to say because typically Arsenal do well in the FA Cup, don't they? They have won it more than anyone else. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, I think I would probably prefer to play Arsenal because City just have the
It's just,
ability
mate,
and
it's just a
they
romance
know
of
how
it.
to win, don't they?
I haven't got
They
any
know how to
I
win,
haven't got
don't
any
they?
hatred or angst against Man City. Really, they're sort of
No,
I
I
don't really
haven't.
feel
No.
one way or the other about them. But yeah, now that for me would be amazing. But anyway, so Leeds, I think we're agreed. FA Cup. Listen, we're talking about it now like it's an inconvenience. It is a little bit, but I think it's an opportunity as well. It's something that can go very, very badly, deeply wrong if we lose, because I think that will set us on the wrong path going into the Wolves game. But if we
Yeah.
win, going into that Wolves game, we're going to have a fucking buzz.
Mhm.
We're going to have a real buzz. We're in a semi-final. We're at Wembley. We've beat Leeds, who we've got to play on the last day as well. So it really is important. It's an important game. I'm glad we're in it. I think at this stage of the season, I'm glad
Yeah.
that we've got this now,
Mm.
especially after what's just happened against Villa.
Yeah. Well, it is a nice distraction considering, like I
Yeah,
say, of the last Premier League game that we had and how that materialised. If we'd have gone and got a result against Villa, then I'd be thinking, oh fucking hell, could do without this game really. Just want to focus on the Wolves game. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it, to be honest, and hopefully we get the result, mate, and then we can take into the Wolves game, and then that stops that little bit of a rot that we was starting to get into. You know what I mean?
absolutely. And for those people out there that are, I don't know, look, we get fans of other channels that watch this, who are involved in fucking Champions Leagues and stuff like that, and they go, "Oh, FA Cup, domestic cups, they're nothing." Well, I tell you what, maybe to you they're not, but to teams
Mm.
like us, they are everything. For me, like I said to you, I loved the Conference League, but the FA Cup is everything to me. I would love. Last time we won it, I was about 4 months old.
Yeah,
I would
it's
love
never
to.
been in
I
my
would love to
lifetime.
witness. I would love to witness us win the FA Cup. And if you've got any doubt how important it still is and how much it means, go back and watch last year's FA Cup final with Crystal Palace and look at them fucking fans. You look at them fans and you look at that day out they had. You have a look, mate. When I was watching that, the fucking hair was standing up on the back of my neck. That is going to be the best day of any of their lives ever, ever,
I mean, no, mate. It wouldn't
ever.
surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if it's written in the stars that we're gonna have to face Liverpool again in the final, and then we actually do them this time. Because
Liverpool
that for
or
me was
Arsenal, either or Liverpool
yeah,
or Arsenal. I'll be happy. Either one.
'cause that final against Liverpool was like that was just heartbreaking for me. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure
Yeah,
it was for you as well, mate. It was horrible, and
yeah, it was bad.
I don't think I've ever. Yeah, I've obviously not seen us in the FA Cup final since then. Do you know what I mean? But
No,
it'd be nice if we can beat them in the final. That'd be good.
mate. We had it won, didn't we? We had it won. It was there. It was it was fucking there. And most West Ham fans against Liverpool, we'd be sitting there in denial in the stands, going, "No, no, it's not going to happen. It's going to go wrong." Blah blah blah. That was at a stage of the game where we all thought. I would say 99% of the fans in that stadium
We're
at
gonna,
that point we thought we've fucking done it,
we're
and that
gonna
was
do
why it
this,
hurt so
yeah.
much. No, no, we did, like because it got to that stage we thought, "Fuck, we've done it," and it was so cruel. It was so
Uh,
cruel. It was so cruel.
why didn't Scaloni just fucking boot it out?
Prick, honestly. What a prick.
Anchor.
I know he is never going to forgive him for that. But anyway, so we've moved on. Let's speculate on the fact that we've just beat Leeds, Adam. We've beat them, right? We've gone past that game. We've beat them. We're in the semi-final. Put in a good performance. Done Leeds 2-0. Bosh. We're in good spirits. But we are facing Wolves, and Wolves are on a terrifying run, really, when you look at who they've beat. They drew against Arsenal. They beat Liverpool. They've got some good scalps. Whoever they're playing at the moment, they're giving them a game. They're also not a one-trick pony. This guy's got them very defensively resolute. When they played Liverpool, they can go at teams like they did against us, and they can just fucking rip us to shreds. Or he's got the ability to get them to play a low block and be defensively resolute and go and beat a team on a counter-attack like they did with Liverpool. He can mix it up. He's got them playing well. I'm nervous for this game. But going into it off the back of a Leeds win, then I'm going to say it now. Then I'm going to tip Nuno to do the right thing, because a lot of it does depend on Nuno. I'm going to tip to do the right thing and set this team up to positively. And the reason I say this, right, and the reason I say it's important, a lot of people think, oh, you're saying, oh, gung-ho, you're going to get fucking battered if you do that. No, I'm not saying that. But when you set a team up to be defensive and concentrate mostly on mitigating the opposition's threats, what you are doing, in a sense, is you are going to demotivate your own team, because you must be convincing them that is the only way that you can get anything out of that game, that this team that you are playing are superior, especially when you're at home. They're superior. You can't take the game to them. You're not good enough. We've got to be patient. We've got to sit back. We've got to sit deep, defend, and try and get something on the counter-attack. And that is why I think Nuno has got to have balls. He's got to have bollocks, because our team they're at their best. No matter who's fit, our team are always at their best when we play on the front foot, when we have a go at teams. They all are. The fucking crowd get engaged. Everyone gets engaged. It's like a living, breathing organism when we're playing football the right way. Everything wakes up. It all goes to sleep, including the players if we do it the other way. We're never going to be fucking Burnley or Stoke or I'm sorry, Everton, who are happy playing sort of fucking defensive football. The club itself can't operate in that fucking state. At the moment, what he's got to do is identify what's got us to this position, what's got us to within, a whisker of jumping out, and it isn't sitting back with fucking, 8 men behind the ball. It's us being a bit braver, playing with 2 up front, playing a bit more progressive, getting Jimmy and Bowen into the game. It is being braver, risk and reward football. I'm hoping that what he does is if we can beat Leeds, he does the right thing in this last 7 games and he goes for it. I'll tell you what, if he does it, and you know how I feel about Nuno, if he goes balls out for the last 7 games, fuck it, I'll give him a go next season, I'll get off his back. If he doesn't, I'm not going to want him anywhere near this fucking club next year.
Do you know what,
Nowhere
Nick?
near
Right.
it.
So the thing is, a couple of weeks ago, well, more than that, when we played Bournemouth, when we drew 1-0 with Bournemouth, and
Yeah.
everyone was saying, no, that was a good result. And at that time, I was like, no, it wasn't, because all the other results didn't go our way that weekend. To that point, looked even worse. There's something that you said after the game, this post-match interview, which really stuck with me, and I didn't like it. And what concerns me is what he said then, now knowing what we're going into, which is a more pressure pot. And he said after that game, he said that what we was able to do was to stop Bournemouth from playing their game. We stopped them. And at that point, I'm thinking to myself, your mindset, your priority was to stop them from doing what they do.
Yeah.
Why are we going in with that? Why are you not giving them something to think about? We was at home. They should be the ones to stop us. So because of that mindset and what he said then, and then he's moved on. We've got a couple of wins, but then obviously we've got the City and then the Villa. And I just think now, with his mindset going into games that are going to be winnable, that's the thing that concerns me the most about Nuno.
If we get relegated, mate, if we get relegated, it's going to be because of Nuno from this point. Because with the momentum that we've had, that we've built up by hook or by crook, that Nuno's been part of, whether it was Paco or whoever it is, ultimately Nuno's the one that's gone. He's taken the advice, and he's proceeded with that, and we've reaped the benefits of that. if what he does now is slams on the brakes and is that fucking deluded, then yeah, because we have got what it takes to stay up. We have, if we play football the right way, we certainly have. We've got Jimmy back now. That is going to make a massive difference. But you can't rely on that alone. You can't have 9 men behind the ball. Just rely on fucking Jimmy. That's not going to work. You know, if all you've got is one threat, no matter how good he is, you can mitigate that threat. You know, you
But
put
what
2 or
happens if he
3
gets
players on him.
injured?
Yeah,
What if he
no,
gets
no,
injured again? Is that us just throwing in the towel basically because he's injured? Let's say he
yeah.
gets injured for the rest of the season. Does that mean that's it? Oh, we're down now. Do you know what I mean? It can't be like that. We
I,
do
I,
have to
I,
have different options, you know.
I'm the same as you. I don't have the confidence in Nuno, but I want him to prove me wrong. I'm desperate for him to prove me wrong. I don't want to go down. I want to win the FA Cup. I want the lot. But I'm damaged now, and I don't have the faith in him. I have the faith in the team because the team have shown us, Adam. The team have shown us that they are with this team. The team have shown us that they're digging in. The team have shown us that they're fucking fighting, that they want to win, that they want to do this. What we need now is just for the manager to set them up to be able to fucking harness what they've got and go out there and just try. And we've got 7 games left. We might not win every one, but you've got more chance of winning if you try to win a fucking game, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, yeah.
Players like Fernandez, who's been an absolute revelation for us this season, has died in the past 2 games. Literally died. He's been
Mhm.
nothing. You know, he's done fuck all because people talk about us being Donut FC again. I've said it. It's no coincidence. It probably isn't even the players. You know, I dig Suchek out a lot. It ain't even his fault, really, because if you sit with a deep defensive line when you're playing 5 at the back, you got 5 at the back, and then you got your defenders sat right in front of them. So you got fucking 8 players sat deep just outside your 18-yard box. Your forwards up there somewhere. You have no midfield. There is a
Mhm.
massive disconnect there, and that's by design. So I just fucking really hope that and
What he needs to do,
I'm nervous. I will talk about the De Zerbi thing, mate, because I'm nervous because this geezer's going to do it completely different.
the thing is, just
Completely
just just
different.
going back to just going back to the whole Nuno thing. What he needs to do is, you're absolutely right, is use the formation and the tactics that got us in a position where we've got a chance. Stick to that, right? You may have to change some personnel because of injuries or fitness or whatever it may be. That's fine, right? But don't go back to what wasn't
No.
working before. Okay. What he needs to do is this whole midfield. He's setting up his midfield just as as a shield. That's all he's doing. He's bypassing the midfield every single time when it comes to attack. You need to incorporate your midfielders because that connects obviously defense to attack. We have players to do that. The players that he has been playing aren't necessarily capable of doing that, but we do have players in the squad that can do that and can do it well. If he starts doing that again, then I think that we are going to stand more of a chance because we're going to be at the right end of the pitch rather than being trying to stop other teams from scoring, which it doesn't matter
Yeah.
who we've got at the back, who we've got in goal. The reality is we're always conceding goals. We don't keep clean sheets very often, So we're always at a handicap there straight away because we're gonna have to at least score 1 goal to at least get a point effectively. You know what I
But
mean? So
that must be soul
um,
sucking though. It's like what you said
of course
against
it is.
Bournemouth, you know, for him to come out and openly admit that the game plan was
It's not
to
them.
mitigate the threat, to stop them coming
Yeah.
to our place. Fucking I know they're a good team and a good manager, but they're Bournemouth. Right?
hmm
And that to me just shows a complete lack of confidence in his own ability as well. You know, because obviously
Faith and faith.
What Iriola's working on all week is, I suppose, patterns of play to cut teams open, and what you're looking at if you're Nuno is working all week on how to stop that from happening. And that alone, that is it. You've got some managers that set there, and this is what I fucking hate. I want to be the other team. And this is
hmm
Bournemouth, right? So when people say, "Oh, you can't play that way," this is Bournemouth. They've got a fucking 11,000 seater stadium. You you you're either the manager that sets your team up to take the game to the opposition and play your game, and you try and craft chances and score goals and play football the right way, or you're the type of manager that just tries to stop football being played and commit a bank robbery every week. And that is unfortunately what we've had since David Moyes, because David Moyes was the same.
hmm
It was
You know
counter
what?
attacking bank robbery football.
I wouldn't mind if every single week, whoever we played, the manager that we've got has got his squad of players and they're working things on a training pitch and they're doing things to get the best out of the best players that they've got, right? They're using and making patterns of play and little plans and stuff like that to get the best out of our best players. If they did that during the course of the week and then entered into the game at the weekend with that mindset, regardless of who we're playing, I wouldn't mind that.
No.
Because you're going to approach the same game, approach every game the same way. You've got these best players, and yes, during the game, you have to adapt. Do you know what I mean? And that's not what Nuno is good at. He does not adapt. He's
Yeah.
no good at it. We witnessed that against City. You know what I mean? He didn't change things after realizing actually these could be got at. He just shit his pants and decided we get the goal.
He
That's it. That's
and
enough.
do you know what else annoys me with him? He kind of everyone can see it so quickly, and I think the very best managers they act soon. They act as
Mm,
soon as they see their. Mourinho's a prime example. How many times have you seen him just fucking change, make a sub in the first 20
mhm.
minutes? He completely changes things around. When he sees, oh, hang on a minute, my game plan ain't working. Fuck this, throw that out the window, do this instead. Nuno will just stick and sit on what the game plan was that they've been working on all week, even if you can see it ain't working. And then it's like get to half time, and I don't know, mate. It's just frustrating. I really hope that he's got enough um, in him to see us through this because the players we have got enough in the playing staff. We fucking have. You got Dizazi in there now, absolutely putting in brilliant performances. Mavropanos, where the fuck has this come from with him? We've got
Mm.
we have got at the moment one of the best centre backs in the league. We've also got one of the best goalkeepers in the league. I don't care what anyone says. Sat on our fucking bench, put him back in goal.
Yeah, he needs to
Best
come
shot
back in
stoppers. This is
100%.
this is this is a stupid decision that he's made. But fuck it, wipe the slate clean. Last 7 games, put the best 11 players on the pitch. Also, as well, um, I know I don't so much think it's the personnel when the 2 new players came in that helped us. I don't believe in that at all. I think it was the way in which we started playing. We started playing 4-4-2, pushing people fucking high up the pitch. The problem that I've got at the moment, and this is what I've said before, what I would like to see going into Leeds, and I'd like to do it as a test bed against Leeds. I want to play with Traore on the right wing, Somerville on the left wing, Bowen and Wilson up front. That's how I want to
Yeah, I
play.
can see that. Yeah,
Because the reason being they're our 2 most clinical players. Bowen's a bit shit up front on his own. We've seen it. Wilson can't play up front on his own because he hasn't got the pace. Bowen has. He'll do all the pressing. And I think those 2 could be a really good partnership, strike partnership going into the last 7 games. There's goals in them 2. There's no fucking goals in Tatty and Pablo. I'm sorry. I know they run, but I don't want to see running now. We need goals, mate. We need goals. No, use them late on in games. When Wilson gets tired, bring fucking Pablo or Tatty on. But or if you're going to use Tatty, maybe drop Tatty back and play him in the 10. I don't know, but there's got to be something that we can do to change this up.
I mean, I wouldn't even, mind just keeping Bowen on the right, not necessarily playing Traore on the right, because I know his preferred positions on the left, but obviously if Somerville's fit, you play him. But I wouldn't mind having Wilson and Tatty up front, or Wilson with Tatty just behind him. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And have Bowen back on the right, because I think Tatty could probably do a job there.
yeah,
Look, I agree. A lot of these 2 players coming in haven't, revolutionized us and all of a sudden made us the team that,
no,
look like we are. They haven't. It's just Nuno has been able to all of a sudden change and adapt to a tactic that was
mate.
getting us out of the shit. We was getting cut to adrift, and if it had carried on the way we was going, we'd be relegated by now.
Mate,
You know
we was
what I
being
mean? So
starved. We was being starved
yeah,
of anything good, anything attacking. All of a sudden, we bring in 2 fucking players, and now all
yeah.
of a sudden we're playing attacking football, and it looks as though it's my 2 new players that have enabled this. That isn't the case. The fact of the matter is, Wilson is a fucking good goal scorer. Wilson's the
Mhm.
reason. Wilson's the reason we're even where we are now. I think because he scored that late goal against Spurs. He has scored some important goals. Um, just give him some fucking game time. He will have. Wilson's a typical striker. Wilson's a player that will do fuck all for 50 minutes, 55 minutes, but he gets a chance, he'll score.
Do you know what
You
I
give
want to
him a
say?
chance, he's scoring.
What I want to say, if Wilson is playing, because if you put the ball in and around the box, there's a good chance he's going to get on the end of it and at
Yeah,
least get it on target, right? What I want to see more is if Wilson is playing, I want to see Diouf more attacking and putting the cross
yeah,
in because that stopped. that has stopped for a while now. It's as if he's been told to no, just hold back a
It's
little
just
bit.
it's
I
just
don't want,
defending now.
yeah, I don't want you being too adventurous. Do you know what I mean? So it seems like as if Nuno hasn't got the confidence in Diouf to be able to get up and down like he used to before. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
if we're gonna, if because you do need to supply Wilson, he can't do it on his own, obviously. So we do need the element of wingers, whether it's Wan-Bissaka on one side and Diouf on the other, whipping balls into the box for Wilson. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
So
I'd,
yeah,
I'd say
that's what I would like to see.
that's the other thing because we know that. Look, I love him, but the player that you is undoubted. Look, Bowen's been fucking shit as well, but you can't not have Bowen in the team,
Mhm.
because
Just
Bowen,
can't.
even when he has a crap game, he gets goals and assists. It's what he does. Wan-Bissaka, um, he's been poor, like really bad. And he's so much better than that. And I kind of he will get dropped. Well, he won't get dropped. He'll rotate. He'll get rotated against Leeds. Well, I think we'll see Cole Walker-Peters come in. If Cole Walker-Peters has a good game, do you give Cole Walker-Peters that slot against Wolves, or do you bring Wan-Bissaka back in, even though he has been a little bit of a liability?
I don't know because if you look at because if you think about the players that Wolves have got, they do have a lot of pace,
Mm.
and I just think regardless of Wan-Bissaka on the ball, which has not necessarily been great, off the ball, I'd rather have Wan-Bissaka than Kyle Walker-Peters because I just think one on one,
There's no one
Wan-Bissaka's a
better
harder
one on
guy
one.
to get. Yeah, there's a hard. He's more difficult to get round than what Kyle Walker-Peters would be, especially if you've got pace. So yeah, I expect him to be dropped for the Leeds game,
Mm.
Wan-Bissaka. But I think this break has come probably for the right time for a lot of these players just to kind of have a bit of a breather and such
Bit of a
of like
reset.
well, exactly that, because
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka hasn't been great. But then if you look at the last two games and how we set up, it's been constant defending. And that might not be Wan-Bissaka's game. He
Well,
does need an element of being able to drive up the field. You know what I
Well,
mean?
this is the other thing as well. All of a sudden, we've become better defensively. We've stopped shipping goals, and as a result, we've started to get more and more and more defensive, which is weird. So we're starting to
Yeah.
get better defensively. Our defenders have been performing better, but as a result of that, we haven't gone right. Our defense is sorted now. Let's try and put trust in them, and we'll try and sort of build on that and push forward up the pitch. We haven't. We've got more and more and more defensive to the point where we're almost trying to hold the ball in our own fucking third again. And then what we're seeing is mistakes start to creep in again. And this is how our
Hmm.
defenders lost all of their confidence before. When Potter's game plan, which was control the game in your own defensive third. And I did a stat before, which was something. I put it up. It was on average, players lose the ball on average around about 30% of the time. So in terms of your passes. Now, what that means is 30% of the time is fine if you're further up the pitch. You're in the middle, you're up the top. But if virtually all of the game is being played in your own half, when you lose the ball,
It
you
could be
fucked
the
up.
goal.
It's like
Yeah.
he's going to end up in a goal.
Yeah.
If you're knocking the
It
ball
doesn't
about
make
around
sense.
your own box, it isn't safe. It's not safe.
It's like you say, we've been better defensively, and what he's saying to, to his defenders, you're doing really, really well. What I want you to do is do that times 100. I want you to do it even more now,
Yeah.
because you're really good at it. But it doesn't work like that, does it?
Well,
Because he needs
like
to be
how,
able
how
to
how much
attack.
pressure have you got to put on Mavropanos before he makes a fuck up?
Yeah,
He's
he's
blocking
got it in him.
everything. He's doing
He
everything. But
has.
what I'm saying is,
Yeah, of
but how much pressure have you? Every defender's got it in them. How much
course I
pressure
do.
have you
Yeah.
got to put on someone before they do something? They do something wrong, and I don't. Because how many times was we saying that under Lopetegui? We were saying it under Potter. We were saying it under Nuno at the start as well. Oh, we've conceded, but individual error. Fucking
Hmm.
Wan-Bissaka, fucking Mavropanos. They're ignoring the fact that the way the team was being set up was to literally playing in their own defensive third. So I'm just hoping and praying. You can hear I'm excited because I feel like Nuno could do the right thing. I do think he could, but I'm nervous that he won't. And it's a not knowing. It's a not knowing for me,
Right.
and that's what it
I
is.
think the thing is that before the Villa game, when we was having a conversation, and we was like, hoping what Nuno won't do, but to do the same thing as what he did against City.
Yeah,
But we knew deep down what he was going to do, and, and
100%.
and granted, and
Yeah,
granted, it was a difficult place to go. Villa, they are challenging for the Champions League. They are a good side, and like I said, not necessarily on great form, but they are still a very good side. So you can kind of you can deal with the fact that he would have gone a bit defensive, right? But it just wasn't the right thing to do because we didn't offer anything. We literally just went there just to try and get a point, and that was gone after the first
But
half an
we was
hour.
exactly
You know
what
what I mean?
Villa needed, because if you think about it,
Yeah.
Villa had struggled in the previous 7 games. They'd lost 3. They'd lost 4 and drawn 2 of their last 7 before they played us. What they
The thing is,
needed was
though,
a team that was going to sit off of them and show them respect.
the thing
That's what they
the thing
needed.
is, mate, right? Against Leeds, that's a one-off game. Do you know what I mean? That's a one-off
Yeah,
game where his tactics could win us the game, could lose us the game. You don't know how it's going to go. It's a one-off game. The Wolves game, which is a home to the bottom team in the league, he will get absolutely ripped to pieces if he goes into it playing 3 at the back with the intention of a 5 at the back. If he goes in with
yeah.
that mindset against a team at the bottom of the league, there's no coming back from that. He has to go for a 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, at least an attacking formation
Against Leeds or
against Wolves.
Wolves. Against Wolves, yeah,
Wolves,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like I say, I'm not saying that I want to see 3 at the back or 5 at the back against Leeds, but it's a one-off game. The tactic may work. If it works to get us through to the semis, whatever, I'm happy. We've won the game. We're in the semis. We're building that momentum. But if he goes into the Wolves game with the same setup, the same mentality as what he did against City or Villa, that's inexcusable. He can't do that. We're at home against the bottom team. In a must-win game, we need to go out. But like I said, whether it's a 4-2-2 or a 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, we need to do
Yeah.
that. That's a bare minimum.
No, I
Because
agree, mate.
because I'll say something now. If he does go in with that defensive mindset against Wolves, that is setting the tone for the rest of the season. If we go back
Massively.
5 against
I
Wolves,
agree, yeah. Yeah.
then that's going to be it for the rest of the season. He's going to look at limping over the line and hoping other teams fail, and we pick up the odd point here and there. That's
We
exactly what it's going to be.
we doesn't matter what way you look at this. Mathematically, we're still gonna be in the race, okay, if we lose
Mm,
against Wolves. But you know what? If we don't win that game, I'm sorry. At that point, I'm gonna be thinking, fuck me.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's that we've got to win it. And I know it ain't easy. I'm not saying Wolves are shit. They're not. They're probably a better team than us at the minute in terms of the performances and the way that they're playing. But we've got to win that
Question
game.
for you then, Nick. Question
We've
for
got
you,
to win it.
mate. So just occurred to me, if we play Wolves, what would you prefer? We're going to win regardless. We're going to win by a shit out 1-0 off a counter attack, one shot, one on target, one goal, or actually going out and battering them for 2, 3, 4-0. What would you prefer?
Well, no, I'd prefer beating them 2-3-4-0, obviously, but
Yeah,
I would take a shit ass win after the
yeah.
game. I would, because I just feel like we've got to win it. But
But
I feel like,
that's
but
what's.
I don't feel like that will work against Wolves. Though this is the thing. I don't think
Mm,
I think they've got enough in them. I don't know. I don't think it will work. And this is what I mean.
that
Because we have
scares
just
me
got
though,
to
you
get.
see, because if we
I
do
don't
shit
think that'll
out a
work.
1-0 win, if it probably wouldn't, but if we did, then again, that's the setup for the remainder of the season. Do you know what I mean?
But
So I
that,
would rather us
yeah.
not have a shit. This sounds crazy because, like you just said, mathematically we're still in it, even if we do lose to Wolves. I think I would rather us lose to Wolves trying to win the game
Oh,
rather than getting a shit ass win.
no.
Is that crazy to say? Do you think?
Yes, yeah, yeah. If we're 7 games to
Yeah,
go, it's crazy. Yeah, I know what you're.
yeah,
I know what you're saying. I know
yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah,
But for me, no. I'd take a fucking a shit performance and a goal of Suchek's dick from a corner or something.
yeah,
Just get
mate.
over. No, at this stage,
Mm,
I would. Don't get me wrong. I'm not condoning. I'm not endorsing us playing that way. But if you're asking me about, ultimately at this point, it is the result that matters, but it's the approach. But to get to that result is what I'm trying to say. To get to that
mm,
result, it's been proven now. You've got to play football a certain way. We have as a club. It isn't playing football that way that's got us to where we are now, which is within a whisker of staying up. He's got to fucking see that. He's got to understand it. So no, I do know what you're saying, by the way, and not in under some circumstances, I would agree with you, but not 7 games from the end of the season with fucking Wolves at home, mate. You got to take them 3 points. You
yeah,
got to
you
take
do.
them.
But like I say, that shit ass win against Wolves ain't
Yeah.
gonna keep us up, and that eventually set up that he would play the remaining games, and we might not get another point after that, so we
No, no,
go
you
down
could,
anyway. Yeah, I know.
you may be right, but
Yeah,
but I look at the remaining games. Um, and I look at them with dread because I look at Brentford away, which is we never win there. You know, you've got Everton at home who are pushing for fucking Europe. You got Palace away, which ain't easy. You know, we tend to get fucking pumped when we go to Palace away as of late. I've been there a few times. We were 1-0 up once, started taking the piss out of them, and then they absolutely fucking battered us.
Yeah.
You've got then you got Arsenal, then you got Newcastle. So Wolves is and we've got to beat Wolves, mate.
Well, Wolves is one of the
We've got to
what is
beat
it, three or
Wolves.
four games that we say. What are we on now? 29 points, is it? 29
Yeah,
points. And what did we say? 38 is going to be safe, so 9 points.
yeah.
23 wins. So
Mm.
that's Wolves, Everton, and Leeds potentially, or yeah,
Or
who else we've got in
Palace. You
there?
know,
Or
it could be
Palace.
Palace
Yeah,
because
could
they're
be.
not their normal selves. You know,
Yeah.
they're not as with Glasner leaving. So I don't know. But
But but then, mate, just thinking about it, because you mentioned about De Zerbi coming in, right? And
yeah.
potentially that could be what either, well, he puts that something, he's either going to do relegate Tottenham or what keeps him safe. It's only going to go one of two ways, obviously. But that's why I think all of a sudden now the Leeds game on Sunday is quite important, because all of a sudden they are no, they're not out of it already.
No,
They're not safe.
Leeds are
Of
not.
course they're
No,
not.
they're not. They're not.
Exactly. Now, if we're thinking that Tottenham could be safe, then that leaves again between between Forest and Leeds. If we beat Leeds, and I don't know who they got next. I can't remember who
I
they got
don't know.
next.
I can't think.
But that could potentially be the start of their bad run, and they're already dragged into it. So and then again, it could be the last game of the
We
season. Winner stays.
we need, especially with De Zerbi, we need either a Leeds. And look, don't get me wrong, and I've got nothing against any of these teams. I've got nothing against Forest. But I haven't got anything. I don't know why, and a lot of old timer West Ham fans will fucking hate me for this because they fucking hate Leeds. I've actually got a bit of a soft spot for Leeds since I've been doing this channel because, mate, their fans are sound. Certainly, there's social media fans. They're good people. So I've got no malice against them. I don't want them going down. And plus, I quite like. I don't know. In the last few times when they've come up, when they've been promoted, like when they was under Bielsa, and I've always admired the way that they just try and play. They're still doing it now. They try and play football the right way at all times. They always do it. A lot of people call it naive. I don't. You know,
Mm.
I haven't got an issue with that. I mean, their time under Bielsa, they fucking loved it as a fan base. He did kill the teams every year because he ran them into the ground. But
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
yeah, I kind of, you know, I'm not a teletext fan. I like to enjoy the game. I like to see the team going out there on the front foot. And one thing when it was Bielsa that I remember, and it was amazing. And it was when they had Calvin Phillips and everything else, and they was going out there attacking. So they could be 3-0 down. They'd still play the same way.
Hmm.
And Bielsa would still be encouraging them to play the same. Nothing changed the way that they played it. Man, I like that. I can't help it. So
Yeah, I, I,
I, d-
I
I,
I
d-
agree.
I
I like to see teams go out and try and play the game the
yeah,
right way, but
yeah,
we know that football's changing. It's more, we've said this time and time again, mate. It's more of a game of chess now
yeah.
than what it used to be. But yeah, some of those old school managers like Bielsa, are the better dinosaur managers, shall we say, as opposed to
Oh
the
fuck me,
Moyes
yeah.
and you
He's a
know.
genius, Bielsa, isn't he?
Mm.
Mad genius. But with yeah, my preference would obviously be Tottenham going down. Other than that, anyone other than us. You know, if it has to be Forest, if it has to be Leeds, fucking whatever. I just don't want us to go down. You know, it's nothing personal. But I am nervous about De Zerbi. And do you know something? I'm so relieved with the reaction of the Tottenham fan base to his appointment. Relieved and disgusted and dismayed because I would be over the moon if we got De Zerbi. I
I'm so missed
no,
something. So what are they
no,
saying?
but this is what I'm almost quite offended because if we was to have got De Zerbi in or that type of manager, I would have been so fucking excited, right? They're like, oh, we're too big for him. He's no good for us. Is this how far we've fallen? He's no mate across all of the fucking channels that Abby on Talksport, whatever her name is, everyone's slagging this geezer off, saying he's shit, saying he's not big enough for them. I'm literally looking at them thinking, fuck, oh, mate, I can't fight. I hate them. They're so entitled. I don't know who the fuck they think they are. They've won nothing in my lifetime. You know, not really. They haven't. Everyone, they're not like, they ain't fucking Arsenal. They're not Liverpool. They're not City. They've won nothing. So I don't know
What the fuck
who
do they
they think they
expect?
are or where
Yeah.
this comes from, but this sense of entitlement that they can go out with 7 games to go and get a manager like De Zerbi to take that job, and they're moaning. They are moaning that De Zerbi is taking that job. Then they're going, oh, 5-year contracts. Look at all that money. Well, I'm sorry. How much does it cost you to get relegated, you thick cunts? Fucking multitudes of whatever that 5 years is. Absolute multitudes.
Yeah.
So why I say I'm relieved at this is because that fan base, if the social media side of it is any representation of that fucking fan base, he's fucked. And he ain't fucked because he's the wrong manager. He's fucked because of that fucking club. I'm telling you now, if we got a manager like De Zerbi in, the West Ham fans, as a collective, we'd be buzzing. We would be.
We'd embrace him, wouldn't it?
We'd fucking embrace him. You'd be buzzing, but not them. So if he goes away to Sunderland, which is they're a team that are pushing for Europe, they're a team that are playing fucking well. Stadium of Light is not an easy place to go to, and if he don't win and they get off on the wrong foot, mate, they're going to pile in on him. It's going to go bandy. It's going to go wrong. So that is what I'm hoping for. However, if he wins, they don't deserve him. They don't deserve him. What I'm saying is they don't because you just look at the way they react. That's the fucking arrogance. And that's the thing. If you look at the reaction to Tottenham fans in their own head, they think they're massive. I think everyone hates them because they're so big, because they're so fucking this. No, they don't. You've been shit for 2 years. Ever since Harry Kane left. I'll tell you what I liken Tottenham to is West Ham under Declan Rice. We was being carried by Declan Rice, a generational talent. We was riding his coattails. He left, turned to shit. Harry Kane carried them. He fucking carried them. Dragged them through. The second he's gone, fuck all. They're shit. They're absolute shit. And they are so entitled and so arrogant. There is nothing big about them. And people don't hate them because they are big or because they've got a nice stadium. They hate them because they're a bunch of cunts. That's why they hate them. And that is collectively. You will not find a fucking... And I know there are some nice Tottenham fans, by the way. I know they are. But I am generalising here because I know a lot of cunts that are Tottenham fans. I live in Tottenham land. And the fact of the matter is, right... I'm getting carried away here, aren't I? And the fact that...
Go on, mate.
Yeah, but no, seriously. All of the comments that you get on this channel could be from Villa, could be from City, could be from fucking Wolves, could be Man United, could be Arsenal. Anyone, all spectrums, all over the fucking league, they all want Tottenham to get relegated. Why is that? It ain't because they're anything special. It's because they're a bunch of cunts. That's why. And they've shown it again with their reaction to fucking De Zerbi taking that job now. So no, I know West Ham fans are taking the piss out of De Zerbi, and that's fine. We can, and we should do. But they shouldn't be. They should be embracing that manager.
Tottenham has Tottenham ever been anyone's like second team? Like you get like a bit of a soft spot for another team.
No,
has Tottenham ever been that? They haven't, have they? There's a reason why,
mate.
Obviously.
Honestly, wankers.
No, I agree. I don't
wasting my fucking time now.
Calm down,
but they
mate.
are. No, they are wankers, mate. I can't. Honestly, I just kind of. I was disgusted with their fucking vile mentality of that fan base. Honestly, and they are so entitled. I don't know who they think they are, mate. Like I said, fucking look at me. I've got a white beard. They've won fuck all in my lifetime. Nothing.
Do you know what makes me laugh is they're having this reaction, which to be honest, mate, I've been oblivious to it. I've not really seen much of the reaction to Zerbi being appointed. But if what you're saying is how they've been, how can they be like this with the Zerbi, who is proven in the Premier League? And manager Marseille was doing okay there. How can they have this reaction?
He turned Marseille around
when they've just got rid of Tudor. When he got appointed, they wasn't like this, was they? I didn't see anything.
Yeah, there was. And that was the same with Frank as well. Same with Frank.
To be honest,
whoever comes in.
I would understand why there was like that with Tudor, because he was dog shit. I mean, his record was horrendous. And as soon as they appointed him, I laughed my tits off because I thought that's just fucking amazing. That's just Tottenham all over. But Zerbi, I'll take him in a heartbeat. I really would.
Oh, I mean?
Mate, so, yeah, you're right. They don't deserve him.
Oh, fuck! They don't deserve him. They don't deserve him. They don't. So hopefully it goes how it fucking should go. Hopefully You know, he struggles in these first few games, which any manager fucking would with that group of players. And hopefully the wheels come completely flying off. He's because he ain't gonna, nothing's going to be bad in his CV. He's coming with 7 games to go. If they get relegated, they get relegated. They're going to have to pay him a big fat fucking lump to get rid of him. I'm sure he's all claused up to the hilt. So no, hopefully that's what happens. And then when he gets relegated, when they get relegated, we'll take the Zerbi. That's what we'll do. We'll take him.
And Kudus back. And Kudus.
Yeah,
I'll have him back and all.
Do you reckon? The Tottenham fans wish they'd have stuck with Ange?
Oh, of course I do. 100%. Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah,
Again, and this is the thing. This ain't a Moyes thing, right? It ain't like the
but
Moyes
that's
thing.
what he wished for.
Yeah, no, but it ain't a Moyes thing because it's the polar
Right.
opposite. Ange, with what he had to cope with last year, if you have a look, it was the same thing as for some reason they suffer with injuries severe at Tottenham, right? Last year, mate, their fucking team fell to pieces. It fell to pieces. Literally injuries galore. He had to prioritise. So he prioritised the Europa League because he saw that as his best way of getting into the Champions League, of getting into Europe. He done it and he won it. And then they sacked him. He don't play bad football. He didn't play bad football. It was a bit gung-ho. But I do believe that Ange Postecoglou, if he'd have been given the time and given the love, he would have adapted to the league. He's come from leagues that he's absolutely dominated and he's smashed, absolutely ripped them to pieces. Hasn't had to pay any sort of respect to him at all. I think that Ange Postecoglou would have grown in the Premier League with probably with them. He probably would have if they'd have got behind him. But they didn't. They never do. They're petulant. They want good football. When they're getting good football, they want fucking trophies. And then when they've got managers like Conte and Mourinho pushing them up there, it's not good enough. They want to make bunch of wankers. Honestly, I'd still take Ange Postecoglou now. I love him. I love the geezer. I know he didn't do well at Forest, but I just think as a project man, I've got a love for the game of football. Okay, I have. I've got a love for the game of football. I've got a love for people that facilitate that, and I love Bilic because Bilic, you know, he just let that team play. He just let Payet fly. That's all he did. He put everyone around him. He just let us fly. Nothing too technical in that. That was all the players when Slaven Bilic was there in 15-16. He empowered that team to go out there and express themselves and rip the shit out of everyone. And that's what we did. Because managers don't win football matches. Fucking players do. That's what happens.
Yeah, you're right.
Players win football matches. And I think that
managers
people
lose matches.
Managers fucking lose matches. They get ahead of themselves. The best manager is a manager that can get the very best out of the collection of players that he's got. Not how can I shoehorn this player into my favoured system. No one gives a fuck about your system. These are your players. Get the best out of them because it's the best chance you've got of winning the fucking game. I've gone into a full rant here, haven't I?
No, you're all right, mate. It's all right. I'm enjoying it. Stick witnessing it firsthand. Yeah, it's great.
I know. But yeah, no. But I've got a love for managers that are like that. Managers that kind of that just let the team play. Let your players express themselves. You know, that's what I want. I don't like all this system-based football. I know that with Ange, it's quite system-based, but it's system-based going the other way. And the same with De Zerbi. It's system-based going the fucking other way. You know, to try and attack and win matches. And that's kind of. I just feel like these managers are dead. Do you remember I said to you before with Sean Dyche when people were saying that Sean Dyche was at Forest? Mate, I'm telling you now, if Sean Dyche was still at Forest, they'd get relegated. When Pereira came in, people look at things through such a fucking weird lens, right? When Pereira got appointed the Forest manager, I've said, do you remember? From day one, I said, that man will fit that group of players. They will be fine. They'll be fine. When he kept Wolves up, he kept them up in style. And then in summer, what they did was he had to cope with the loss of what would be the equivalent of fucking Jared Bowen, Somerville and Fernandez in our team. That's what they cut out of that team. And that's what he struggled with at the start of the season. All of a sudden, he's a shit manager. He's rubbish. Look at what he'd done. Because people just look at it from a fucking high level. Well, no. Look at what he did last year. Look at how he fucking kept them up. And he does that trying to play the right football. So, like, I remember there was a poll being run on Gio's show that he did the other day. And it was in a relegation battle, which manager would you like? and it was all the 4 managers that are in the relegation battle,
Mhm.
and all the West Ham fans chose Nuno. I didn't. I selected fucking Pereira. I didn't select De Zerbi. I selected Pereira. But
Well, I mean, I,
70% of people
yeah.
selected Nuno.
Why? Because I'm not being funny. The proof's in the pudding. The fact is that we've got
I
Nuno, and
know.
yet we're still in the bottom three. That does not make sense. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, I would rather have
Also,
Pereira.
Wolves are in the bottom 3. Ex Nuno. West Ham are in the bottom 3. Ex Nuno. Nottingham Forest are down there, and Tottenham are down there. 4 of the bottom 5 are ex Nuno teams, and
Mm,
Mendes. 4 of the bottom 5.
coincidence? I think not.
Anyway, Adam, what we'll do, we'll close this up. We'll wrap this up, right? With, I'm going to put you on the spot here with a couple of questions. I'm going to ask you, with your heart, first of all, okay? How is this season going to finish? First of all, with the FA Cup and the league, do you think that we're going to survive? So I want you to tell us if we're going to survive, and if we survive, who do you think is going to get relegated? This is with your heart. And how far do you think we're going to go in the FA Cup?
So I think we'll beat Leeds, and I think we'll get to the semis, and then I think we'll get knocked out. Um,
That's fine.
that's my head and my heart, But we get to Wembley, it'd be a nice day out, But I just think that we'll just fall a bit short against bigger, better teams, unfortunately. Will we stay up? Do you know what? It all depends for me on the Wolves game. If in a week or so
No,
time we have this
you got
conversation,
you got to make a
uh,
decision now, Adam. I'm afraid. Got to
ba
play the
ba
game.
based on I'm going to get shot for this. No, I don't think we'll stay up.
Oh, you've
I
killed it.
don't think we will.
You've killed what I was going to do. I was going to do it's what I did in the Discord group the other day. Yes, people, we're down with the kids. We've got a Discord group now.
Do you
I
know
was
what, mate? But I say, there is a bit of positive there because we're going to get to the semis,
yeah.
FA Cup. But it's just I can only go
Well,
on
no,
what I've
you're
seen
not
last
saying you
couple
want
of
us to get
games.
relegated. You're saying that you
No, of course
probably
I'm
think that
not.
we're going to
No,
go. You're saying you think we're going to go. Yeah, that's
but I think it'll
yeah.
be like we said earlier. I think it'll be Nuno is what is going to relegate us. That's what it'll be.
Well, I asked the question the other day, right? Now, my heart, in my heart, I would say, in my heart, I'll go with the fantasy. I'll go with the fact that we're going to stay up, and I think we've got a good probability of staying up. By the way, I'm not mocking it. I think at the moment it's a 25% chance. I think all 4 teams have got an even spread of being in that bottom 3 come the end of the season. But that can change week on week, and it will change. Um, but in terms of how I feel with me heart, I think that we will survive. I think that we'll get to a final. That's what'll happen. I'm not gonna predict whether we will win the final or not, but I'm gonna predict that we'll get to a final in the FA Cup. I think we'll get through the semi, and I think that will carry us through. And I think we will stay up as a result. I think we'll be buzzing. Um, but I asked the
Let me get this
question.
right, mate. So let me get this right. So am I now the more negative one out of me and you? Is that why I'm coming on?
No,
Because
no,
maybe you're looking
because
a bit more
no, because
positive.
no, because that was my heart, right? But
Okay,
I asked the question in the Discord the other day when I was having this debate, and I said, "All right," I said, "You got your life savings. If you ain't got any life savings and you're poor like me, you got to sell your house and I'm holding a gun to your head, all right? You've got to put your house on West Ham getting either going down or staying up. At that point, I'll be honest. If you forced me, if I had a gun to my head, I would be saying relegated because I feel like it's more probable with everything that's going on with Tottenham,
yeah.
with Forest. I don't think Leeds are not shit. They're not scoring goals, but Leeds ain't been putting in no performances like what we did against Villa the other day. They're always playing. They're always playing all right.
Mm,
A little bit nervous. So, gun to me head, yes, I wouldn't be putting my house on West Ham surviving. Put it that way, I wouldn't.
yeah.
Um,
When he asked me, what's my heart saying? It's hard to you know just not just use an emotion with it because your
yeah,
head just comes into it and. of course, I don't want
Yeah,
West Ham to go down, and I would love West Ham to stay up. I'd love Tottenham to go down and us to win the FA Cup. Of course, that would be the ultimate season for me. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
yeah, when you look at the facts, when I can't, you know what I'm like, mate. I deal with facts all day long,
No, no,
every
no.
day.
You're
Do you
you're
know what I
you're
mean? So,
you're
you
you're an
know,
analyst. You're an analytical man. Whereas with me, my heart rules my head until you bring money into the equation. Then my brain works again. So that's what I'm saying to you. So my heart rules my head. But then if you're saying
yeah,
something like that, I'll be like, oh, hang on a minute. Okay, right.
mm.
Let's have a think about this. So look, that's where I stand on it, and that is why it would be, and it means nothing. You know what we say, what me and Adam say, what we feel about this doesn't mean we're going to fucking stay up or go down. It don't. We could both sit here until we're blue in the face and say we're going to win the FA Cup and we're going to stay up. It don't mean it's going to happen. But that's I'm a nervous wreck with it all. I am. I'm starting to feel myself go again now. I'm getting more fucking nervous as it's going on. I'm going to mate. The hatred that I'm going to have for Spurs is going to go to another fucking level if we get relegated and they stay up. And
Basically,
I
yeah.
already fucking detest them, and it's going to go to another level if this don't go
Well,
how I
all I
need
can
it
say
to
is,
go
mate,
for my own mental
we've
health.
so the whole Premier League survival that's
Gonna have to
taken a
move.
backseat for another week. All we can do is, mate, look forward to this weekend. It's
Yeah,
one game. We're one game from Wembley. Let's see how it goes. You know, let's be positive with that. Because I feel like we need to be positive because I think that this potential game here against Leeds isn't going to define our season, but it's going to give us a real good chance of staying up. Because if we end up winning and we get the momentum back and the confidence is back, because we've just had two shit ass games, then going into the Wolves game, mate, I think we will see a bit of more attacking because Nuno cannot go with the back five against Wolves at home. He cannot. If he does that, he is literally, you know, he's sending
he's a
himself
dickhead.
to the wall, basically, isn't
He's
he?
an absolute dickhead
Literally.
if he does that. Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. But look, anyway, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll leave it there because that is 1 hour and 12 minutes. We are done. Um, Yeah, I really enjoyed that, mate. That's been like a therapy session. I actually fucking really enjoyed that. I needed to
Mm.
have most of the time just talking to myself on the screen. That was not
That
easy.
was good, mate. It's good.
So it
No
was nice,
questions this time.
nice getting that off my chest. Good little chat, and yeah, we'll let you all go. That's long enough. Speak to you all soon. Don't forget, subscribe if you haven't already. Hype us up. Drop a like on the video. And speak to you all soon. Adam, thank you very much, mate.
You're welcome, mate. Cheers
Good,
for
you
having me on, mate.
heads.